Welcome back to the channel, guys. This week we're going to have a quick recap of things that have been going on in my spider room, and we're going to have a look ahead at the first show in the UK of 2024. This weekend is fast approaching. It is the last weekend of January, which means it's the first show of the year, S.E.A.S, Southeast Arachnid Show in Ashford. It's a brilliant show, but it is busy. So there's a couple of things that I would give as advice, things that I do myself, for people who haven't been to the show before or haven't been to any show before, and maybe things that people haven't thought of that do go to shows regularly. So the first thing we're going to talk about is planning. Now, planning, there's a few parts to this. I would say plan your journey and plan your items. So the journey wise, if the show opens at 11 o'clock, you want to be there about an hour early at least, because if you want a car space, the car parks fill up fast at these shows and the queue builds very, very quickly. So if you don't want to be standing outside in the cold, you need to get there early. So take that into account when you're planning your journey time. Add on an extra hour, hour and a half, get in that car early. You can always sit in the car park, in the car, keeping nice and warm, but what you can't do is find a space 5 minutes before the doors open. That's 100% guaranteed. It gets busy there. The next part of planning would be planning on what items you want to pick up. Now, what I mean by this is you may have an idea in your head of what spiders or items you want to grab. So have a look on the people's websites before you go. All the sellers are published, so you can have a look on the sellers lists, and for the big shops and stuff you can look through, browse their spiders, the slings, juvies, adults, other items, etc. and just make a list, even if it's just a mental list, of items you want to look out for. For me, it's quite specific. I want a blondie female, if I can find one. So what I'll be doing is going to all the big sellers, having a look through all their lists, seeing if they've got any of those items, and making a note of those sellers' names. Because what you want to do is when you get in through the show, you'll want to head there first, because you don't want to be disappointed if you've got something in mind only to find out they sold it 10 minutes before you decided to walk around and see them. The next part of planning, I would say, is decor items. If there's things you want, such as big cork bark bags from Spider Shop, get there early and go to them directly. Those things sell out fast, and a lot of those big bulky items do sell out quick. The good thing about buying decor items like that is if you have found a car park space and you have got this decor stuff, you can literally just walk out, put that in your car, doesn't matter how cold it is, the decor is going to be fine. You're then free to wander around without carrying all these items, and you can then have a good old look at all the livestock that you want to maybe pick up. Plan your budget. Make sure that you know roughly what sort of money you're going to need to either take to the show or have available in your bank. Yes, people do take cards, but some sellers only take cash, so I would always take a mix of both. Have your card available, have funds there ready for that, and be mindful of what you're spending on the card. It is very, very easy to play kid in a candy store and just spend a fortune. It's happened to me in the past, and I'm sure it's happened to an awful lot of people that are watching this video that have been to a lot of shows. Spending money is very, very easy at these things. You see stuff and it's like, ooh, shiny, and you want to buy these things. So just be mindful of what you're buying and just make sure you've got a budget. Even if you can't stick to it, it's still good to plan on what you do want to try and get hold of. Expect it to be busy. Make sure that you're prepared to be in the queues walking around at S.E.A.S. The aisles between the stores are quite small, and there's an awful lot of people. There's an awful lot of waiting around and moving through crowds. So if you want to get the things straight away that you've got at the top of your priority list, as I say, try and make a beeline for those guys. Go and put those dead stock in the car, come back into the show, maybe grab yourself a drink, chill out for a little while, and then have a wander around once the crowd starts to die down, because at the shows they do die down gradually as you move into the afternoon, and then you can have a browse and a chat to anybody in the aisles and the sellers and this, that and the other. It's a lot less hectic the second half of the show, that's for sure. Have fun. Basically, if you're going to these shows, you've got an interest in inverts, spiders and other animals, and everybody else there does too. If you want to talk to people, YouTubers, whatever, just talk to people. everybody's approachable and everyone is there because they're enthusiasts. Have a good time and enjoy yourself. These shows are brilliant. They're a really good place to meet people. And so just go, enjoy, speak to people, come and say hi to me, come and say hi to any of the people you watch on YouTube. Everybody's really approachable and everybody's really nice, and it's always good to make new friends at these types of shows. So what's been going on here? Well, this week we've had a few pairing attempts. The Avics didn't really play ball. The male started tapping, the female wasn't really that interested. We have got to pair her again this week, which we will do. I've just got to find a couple of hours available because the male's quite tentative because he doesn't want to go into her burrow or into her webbing anyway. So we have to wait and sort of till she's out and about. And that's the way I'll do the pairing. I don't want to be stressing him out by pushing him in there or anything like that. So we've had that pairing. It wasn't very successful. He tried to get round behind and climb on top of her, which looked a bit strange, but I'm sure he'll figure it out eventually. She just wandered off after a little while with him sort of flustering around, not really knowing what he was doing. So we've got those to pair again this week. The other ones we paired was our Purians. Now, this had got what I think was a successful pairing a few weeks ago. I did put the male with her again over the last weekend, and she didn't really show any interest either. She walked into her burrow with her backside facing outwards, and he just sat there tapping away on her back legs for quite some time with zero interest from her. So again, we're going to see if she's interested this week. If not, we're going to see what happens, because she has moved all of her substrate up to one side of the enclosure at the moment. I don't know if she's preparing a space to make some sort of egg sac room. We will see. But again, another pairing thing that's been going on here. We've had a few rehousings. I haven't recorded most of those. The reason being is because it's just moving slings up from tiny pots into slightly larger pots, and I've done a few videos of those recently, and I just needed to get a few things done. Apart from that, there's not really been much going on here. I am going to be at S.E.A.S, as I've said, and I'm going to be bringing a couple of spiders for a few people. I don't have, as far as budget goes, anything on my list that I'm going to pick up apart from Court Bark and maybe some sphagnum moss, something like that, and that's about it. But invariably that may change. I do have one spider on my list. We'll see if any of the sellers have got those. It is a big ask. It's a big spider and it needs to be female, so we'll see. We'll play that one by ear. I'm not sure. And that's it. So guys, if you're going to be there at the weekend, come and say hi, come and say hello, come and get some stickers, and if not, I'll catch up with you again next week. Please like, please consider subscribing if you're not, and if you are going to be at S.E.A.S or you've got any other tips for the shows that you think are important for people, leave them in the comments. I'm sure people will like to read your ideas as well. Thanks a lot guys, and we'll catch up with you next week.